Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Can someone who happens to be a genius in human behavior explain to me what it means when someone freaks out after being asked a simple question about a guy that most of his administration promised its supporters it cared deeply about, only up until the point that they suddenly want you to stop talking about it? What's the expression again? A hit dog will holler? Here you've got Trump and Bondi panicking when asked about the announcement that the Department of Justice will not be releasing Epstein's client list, and claiming there is no client list, despite the fact that this was the rhetoric from these people before they started working with Jeffrey Epstein's known associate, Donald Trump.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list, they're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Cash and Pam, there will be accountability.
A lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them, and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims, 200. So we have, well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay, well,
along with his co-defendant.
Absolutely, and he had help. That's for sure.
He sure did.
The Ghislaine Maxwell Black Book. What names are in there, man? You understand how many powerful people probably want this thing to desperately go away? How many people were interconnected with this Epstein sex ring operation? I heard from a reporter once that there were tapes. A very well-respected reporter, many of you know, that there are a lot of tapes out there of a lot of people. I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I talked about it yesterday. You can go check it out. I'm not letting it go ever. Ever.
And yet suddenly, once all of those people started working for Trump, again, a known associate of Jeffrey Epstein, they're all towing the line and insisting that there's nothing to see here. But hey, you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm just overreacting and that we are overthinking Donald Trump's relationship with Epstein anyway. I mean, it's not like they were best buds or anything.
How do you know this? Donald's closest friend.
I was his closest friend for 10 years. Okay, well, you know what? That's Epstein's opinion. Anyone can say they were friends, doesn't mean it's actually true. If they were actually close friends, certainly for 10 years, I'm sure there would be plenty of footage to actually back that up. Okay, well, look, that was a long time ago. It's not like Trump has said anything recently that would suggest that he's got something to hide, right?
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Perhaps I'm beginning to understand why Trump is so hell-bent on making the story go away. When Trump freaks out and demands that everybody stop talking about Epstein and stop taking questions about Epstein, it's not because this guy has some inability to talk about the same thing over and over. This is Donald Trump we're talking about. The guy who has spent the last decade telling the same fucking story almost on a daily basis about water pressure in his toilet bowl and claiming that immigrants are rapists and murderers and saying that Hillary Clinton is the biggest criminal to walk the earth. This guy has no aversion to repetition. He's steeped in it. It's just that he simply really doesn't want anyone to talk about Epstein, who his Department of Justice seems to be covering for, and it also just so happens that Trump is a very, very well-known associate, some might say close friend, of Epstein himself. Not a big leap to make. So I hope all of these right-wingers who actually do care about seeking justice for the victims of Epstein, which by the way is a righteous cause, recognize that they have thrown their lot in with somebody who has no interest in seeking that justice, but rather in protecting himself. He is the exact thing he pretended to want to fight against. And everybody who presented themselves as warriors for this cause, Pam Bondi, Alina Habba, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and on, all these people who said that they were going to go after the power structure that protects powerful and depraved people like Epstein, well, not only are they not doing that, but they're actually entrenching that very power structure that they've railed against. They have turned into the exact thing that they pretended they would be fighting. That's what you get with the MAGA GOP. Window dressing about fighting the good fight, but once they have power, they turn into the very thing that they promised to protect you from. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.